Mother. Sometimes, in despair, I've thought I'd like to disappear, that my kids would be better off without me, that I am what they call a hopeless case, and there is no going on. And yet, I stay. I breathe in and out, because I know that even though it feels interminable, this feeling will pass. I will learn to thrive, survive the dives, stick around to see their lives unfold. My kids don't need to see me on the skids. I don't want their innocent eyes to witness my demise, and so I pick myself up, tell my brain that's just enough. Shut up, shut up, shut up. It's time to start living. Continue with the giving, the cooking and the cleaning. Hope is in the gleaning of meaning. From these mundane tasks, nobody asks what lies beneath the mask of being a mother. Someone other, something to be discovered, the truth to be uncovered of my life as a struggling wife, and taking a knife, not to harm, stay calm. I'm chopping up veggies.
I want some blood tests. You look at me as if to suggest that you know more than me, given your 6 years study then post-grad. And I look at you as if to suggest that I know my own body. So I tell you what I want, as if to suggest that I'm claiming my own power. But you fold your arms as if to suggest it's never gonna happen. But then you relent and you say you will make a call. So I go off to my Pilates class, which is hard today, lower abs work, but I do it as if to suggest I'm trying to do something to help myself. Then I move on to my favourite cafe and order a T2 Earl Grey, beautifully fruity, and fuck it, a small square of chocolate crunch, as if to suggest I am still somewhat miffed about your not being able to reverse roles with me. And then you call me. You've spoken to the man, and he agrees with me. Me. I smile, as if to suggest I know my own body.
The golden hours, those golden hours, drinking through the minutes to velvet dark, soft-edged bars with hard-boiled floors, curling lips, curling tongues, cars ripping through lights like candy, red, green, orange. Chasing days, chasing luck, chasing speed, eyes burnt in bright-lit temples of greed, singing pop songs like pirates. Getting friendships wrong in the early hours, forgetting names, forgetting faces. The golden hours, those golden hours, crystallised, polished till they shine, shine, shine. A magnet to a magpie eye, flowing drink, beating chests, careless nods to circling prey, deceptive we were not, too open maybe, too full of the lives of others, giddy on each new offering. Caught in our future's mirror, 100 views reflected. Judas staring back in silver, staring in sly lily liver, quicksilver, a lie, a sliver of truth behind. Traitor, you. You were put on the curb, lost in the cracks of the borrowed couch, left while we rode higher, higher in our wax chariots and pride, while golden hours, those golden hours, held fast, held tight, held court. And we polished our trinket time, one more trip, one more dance, one more time. We knew it would come to an end. The lights went up. We were left with sticky carpet, empty glasses, blank stares from forgotten faces. We were left with nothing but ourselves. Left with nothing but the remnants of golden time, the memory of wasted hours.
Her hands are gaunt now. They snarl like old animals, scarred, scraped with divots, like used furniture marked with mysterious stains. They flex and twist, creak and groan, but Christ Almighty, she could still choke a ball. When she lays them flat in that puddle of beer on the bar, leathery palms on warm wet wood, she wonders at tendons like taut wires, nails like blunt steel. When she claps them together, squeezes the joints white, she can feel the ache in her shoulders. When she holds them up and makes the old fists again, she can smell the wind and hear the bird cry. And if she tries, she can remember his name and feel the crust and crunch of winter.
Balancing yourself over the water, perched on dark, slippery rocks, fish flying through the shallow water beneath your feet. You are in your standard uniform, the red sweater you used to live in, and your black combat boots, muddy from your journey across the riverbank. I stood watching you with my camera, capturing the crossing at 10 frames a second, creating a mini timeline of your journey across, a broad, toothy grin on your face, your arms out to your side for balance, with the foggy mountain range in the background framing the whole affair. My jumper wrapped across your torso, the one I gave you when I went away to Europe, worn every morning to remember me by. The only thing that the camera failed to capture was your arrival on the other side of the river and the warm embrace I was greeted with on your arrival.
I don't always feel like flesh and blood. Sometimes just a skeleton, with bones so brittle they could shatter at a tickle. See, I paint pictures of you as a universe with such power and infinity inside you, but I don't even feel like a star, not even a comet. Sometimes just a skeleton. Covered in dust from years of nothing, aching joints from looking for something. I wrote 1,000 poems telling you to cherish the lily blossoms that weave through your ribcage, when all I feel around mine are decaying dandelions, crumbling at the touch from endless hours of no sunlight and bone-dry springs. I don't know how much longer I can nourish the roses in your heart and mind, bless the blood in your veins, and praise the pumps of your heart when I feel just like a skeleton.
I was not born to die. Idle men are weak, whereby they wedlock to their memories. But love made manifest is man's masterpiece. Art to be aggrandized across generations, to be morphed and muddled across the ages. Like the wattlebird song immortalized by my ears and by the ghosts of yesteryears. But when do ghosts become ancestors? Of whom can I pray and learn from to master? I am no orphan, as I have a mother. Wherefore in the womb I had her then, before my soul braced miasma. She was then only my Jocasta. If I were to whisper to that fetal self, in that unencumbered, entombed form, I tell him not to fear the modes outside his keep, of persons walking grimly in the streets. All others will not be fierce to you. Although your gaze is bound to ebb and flow, and below its waves it's bound to churn and billow. Whenever you find yourself afraid, think upon the poetry of eon trees casting shade upon shade, and their ancient trunks waxing and waning sunlight cast, no less like the moon casting shade upon the shade of space. And think of grass growing for itself, while the cow bows to it, in pastures thick and deep, where each blade opaques the other, where the cow churns and treads, where the grass loans itself to be fed. One day, loverhood will swing your soul like a broken bell, by curved shapes aggrandized by hued eyes. Once your night before pressed shirts are let to be undone, and your gaze will begin to seek thighs like parachutes. Junkie chic will darken the pits beneath your eyes, and sighs will become deeper after each unanswered night of crying. But remember the poetry of the ocean in its steep, the beauty of the drop-off where it meets the reef, the grandiosity of the sky. For beyond its blue there's mostly black, but you did not come here to die, even though the blood gushing through your mind and the pulsing organs are someday to be felt. Someday you are bound to find that you were not bound by time. Shatter me, great wind. Someday you're bound to be a dreamer of what's beyond the black. There is ether, as the dead do not scar.
My mother's first and only love. Their eyes met and locked across the dance floor. Uncomprehending happiness bubbled inside her. He walked up, bowed, she lowered her eyes, arose. She grabbed his elbow. They walked out into the balmy evening air. Their souls connected, they were one. They pledged themselves to each other. A rich, radiant flame arose within her and lit up her world. Her sister, dominating, forceful, loved him, coveted him from long before. Opportunity beckoned, they became friends, dance partners. My mum hated dances. She trusted her sister to look after him. The friendship grew arms, tentacles. They grabbed, grasped, pulled him away. My mother's trust was betrayed. Her lover was finally wrenched from her with her mother's approval. The elder sister had first choice, and that was that. My mum wept bitterly. She retired to her room, distraught, shattered by the treachery. Her flame died. Her soul lay in ashes. Her mother forced her to rejoin the family, to witness the new lovers paraded before her, to partake in their marriage as bridesmaid, to be a loving aunt to their children. She could not love the man she eventually married. She was unable to give herself completely to the children she bore. She carried a broken heart. Her spirit remained shattered. Her flame only an intermittent, weak spark that died as soon as it ignited. Years later, confined to a bed, with death knocking at the door, unable to walk, her world dictated by dementia. The nurse, a kind young man, who cleaned and washed her with loving care, who touched her tenderly, intimately, rekindled her first and only love. They were lovers once again. Her zest for life returned. A rich, vibrant flame arose within her once more, and briefly lit up the world around her.
Wait for me, O land of glorious red setting suns and wide open roads, lined with kashbon bushes and laughing children tugging at their mother's saris, awaiting the roar of the next plane passing by. A transient reminder that there's something beyond the line where sun meets sea. 2. Storms in Teacups. She told me she survived the cyclone, spread her metaphorical wings, and let it carry her around like dust in a gust of sudden wind, and land her in another town. Glowing amidst the corrupt and uncertain, she stands today with blankets in her hand, spreading warmth, just when it seems like everything is frozen over. Her hands, wrinkled, rough, tattered at the edges where they have shown too much love, a reverse metaphor for a well-loved book, clasped around a teacup as her eyes, flying, pensive, land on a new spot inside my soul.
Blossoming. I hadn't noticed that you blossomed. Last week you were still grey and bare. Now you're full of life, white and bright. Your fragrance is bringing the sweetest memories, home, sunshine, happiness. Sunrays through the cracks of the fence play on my hand, moving in rhythm. Somewhere above in the clear blue sky is the moon, only now and then visible in the day. The wolf fell in love with the moon. The night hears his cries for the one he loves from afar. With life in all shapes and forms around me, I can't stop and wonder, where did 29 go? Somewhere between the sunsets of summers and the rainbows after the rain. Somewhere in the early morning, sun rising behind the mountains. In the hugs of my existence and the love of my sisterhood. Somewhere in the snow angels or the snowballs and the snowmen. Between the chair and the education board. On the pages of the first diary and many blanks filled with me. On the bus and behind the wheel. On the dance floor and in front of the mirror. Between the high-rise buildings and on the other side of the world on Shiroksukak. Somewhere around the house in the green lands. Between there and here. On the wings of a plane going back and forth. In the broken heart healed by him just to break it again. On the waves of the ocean and the city that I fell in love with. Between the new friendships and the old lovers. Between the tears and the smiles. on the beat that still moves me in many directions, from the love to learn and write, all the way to the sky where I look for answers. Somewhere in my heart they all stand tall and proud like pillars of proof, 29 of them.
Can you see me, God? I think of you when I come. I pray to you in the morning sun. Can you see me, God? I'm a lover, not a biter. Fuck me faster, I get higher. I think of you when I come. It may be my hand making me harder, but it's your face making me faster. Can you see me, God? I close my eyes and feel your lips. I thrust my hips. Your body is like a lunar eclipse. I think of you when I come. I lust for you in my dreams, but reality is never what it seems. Can you see me, God? I said, I'm nearly there. You pulled me by my hair. I think of you when I come. Can you see me, God?
Get off my chest. We're all aware, the best of us, of the pillaging, patronising, rule-making bad guys, pointing and laughing at our thick thighs, then Googling them later to eroticize. It's their egos we should minimise. They'll probably never understand, fully accept or realise, thinking it's okay to rape because they've already been baptised. But I won't encourage their enterprise. It's usually our fault, the rest of us, that men decide to cannibalise. Filthy whore, look what she wore, they say until they fantasise. Be careful who you terrorise.
I'll read her love stories, and I'll be there with her. The distance between us compressed, I fantasise, up retroactive lineages, the lub and dub of storylines, winding back, 1, 2, forward responding versional to contents. I cast them as origins of me, as image. I am her remembering, feels right the order of becoming something behind headings. Untouched, desire, touch, vanishing, unseen. My past life as unseen. The privacy of not being physically close to someone can be undone if they let you in on their secret, or if they publish it and used as a memory costume, you climb inside of them.
On Mondays, I move styrofoam boxes of tomatoes and try not to break them. Watching people through steel-framed glass perspex plates. Effortless words make $2 concepts per person, predictable sound of a cash register as we bicker over pesto. Molasses runs down closed lips, sticky teeth shatter, and replaced from honey and moss. Lick the roof of your mouth. Try and get it off, but it clings. I want structure and order and routine, and I can't get it until you decide on your safety precautions. Don't forget to wear a helmet, which sounds strangely secure. You want excitement, but I've had my fair share, and I want the newspaper on Sunday mornings and crosswords in the evenings and pretending everything's okay. Pull out those rotten teeth. You haven't been to a dentist before, and it shows. I go once a month, just in case. I can make you a cup of coffee every morning and a cup of tea every evening if you promise to be okay with sitting quietly and not running and not screaming and not living until we die. I want to sleep in with you, not because in the early AMs we threw up our night and our money, but because it's raining outside and it's chilly and your cold nose touches my cold nose and we've got nothing at all to do today. A hand goes from lips to cheek to head to hand. No sound. Traffic lights below go from green to yellow to red to green, and you tell me you want to wake up with me. I tell you I want to clean my lungs with bleach, and I tell you my thoughts because I'm afraid if I don't, I'll forget them. And I'll just be happy when the background noise sounds like background noise, and we have our own regular, not too often conversations. You are comely, homely.
I knew I'd always be the nurturer instead of the one being nurtured. Even when my leg was radiating with pain from the surgery I had 2 days ago. I decided to put your comfort before mine. I knew when you fell asleep with me you'd get attached, like when a baby doesn't want to let go of his mother. You showed me vulnerability and knew that if you grew too fond of me, you'd crave my maternal touch. And that thirst for my love would not make you want to move so far from me when my arms were just a short drive away. I knew when you said you wanted to keep my favourite jumper, The way my scent reminded you of my arms and breasts, and the way you felt when you allowed your eyes to rest. I'll never forget the way your breath felt on my neck, or when I rolled over and laid my head on your chest. You squeezed me hard, yet so gently, like you didn't want to let me go. But the thought of you now makes me want to scream and slice and burn my skin so the imprints you left on my flesh melt away. I didn't want to sleep, with the fear I'd wake up to you inside me. The thought of your ice-cold, murderous eyes sent shivers down my spine. I feared you, even in your sleep, which is why I scrubbed myself clean. I didn't want to touch my clothes, because they were heavy with the non-consensual intimacy that happened last night.
Where does it stop? The lies, smiling faces, lips with perfect teeth in mouths telling you to buy, to shrink in size. It's no surprise, we're all sick, really. Sick and tired of knowing what's wrong in our lives. The size of our thighs, the hair we must dye, pluck, shave off, and hide. It's so depraved seeing hair shaved off legs that are already shaved, that sparkle with fake tan in commercials, magazine spreads, and billboards. There was no hair there to begin with. I wonder what my life will be like when I get thin, finally. The less your size, the more your value. They won't hesitate to tell you. The less your size, the more your value. They'll try and sell you more of what will make you perfect, worthwhile, that might fulfill you for a time until you get all fed up and tired. After thinking you'd want to smile when you got thin, that the diet was worth it, but now you realise you should have just looked within, to your true self and what you like most about you and nobody else.
I began to bleed the moment your hand was wrenched from mine, with stealth brutality by disquieting disease. My heart shattered, flailed, in the desolate space where your fingers once were in mine, in the nick of time. In brief tranquility you gave me deep connection, and I levitated in the possibility of happiness. To be saved was fleeting splendour, the fall was eternal and fierce. I landed hard on finite ground, my skull impaled on a dream. Rocks moulded to my spine, and with protruded bones, my venom drained, devastated organs died. Tears and rain in time softened my unloved face. At last I slipped away. I couldn't wait for you.
Never. I feel like an outcast angel, a martyr for destined doom. I've lost my powers, wings clipped, falling, Icarus, in bloom. But yet, in my state of gloom, I wonder, were you meaning to kiss me? Was I thinking right when I saw a speck of hope in your eyes? A speck so bright, beaming like a raven in the sky. That raven like the one who stole your wedding ring, glistening in his closed and craggy claws. And that way you turned to look at my face, my porcelain face with tears trickling inside, tears that you could have never seen, tears hidden from within inside me, running like my veins of blood, red, blue, and purple, a veil of blood, pumping from a heart so wanting, and in the inside feelings you'd never think to imagine. I wonder, did you see any beauty? Was there any glimmer of hope that I myself was right? I stop and wonder in a time of great question and thought, pondering the mechanics and intuition of dream at play. Dream, man's cruelest invention. I recall, it's cold, you said. I think I heard care and comfort in your voice, but memory fades to present. I'm walking away from you. My entity, my essence has entered a realm of sick poignancy. Time and matter has manifested into a representation of my riddled reality. You're there and I'm here, yet I want to be nearer to thee, dressed in my favourite washed-out white Neil Young tee. And you asked who it was on my chest, which you once touched naked, and I wondered if you truly knew who I was at all. I turned to the memory of our embrace, to the thought that he was melting within me. I'm still with you. I'm still many steps backwards, still in your arms. I close my eyes and yes, I'm still in your arms. It repeats. Reality. I'm walking to a cold demise without you. It was only a dream. My riddled reality faces me, and still your smell and scent lingers in my mind, sending me into a transfusion of dream and ultimately what can never be. Why is never such a cruel word? Why, tell me why, God, that I am forbidden to he, denied, a martyr with no religion but the religion of he and his presence, the communion of us, the deliverance that he is closer to thee. But I am forever lost to the word never, struggling and questioning the concept, that 5-letter word that can be so harsh, N-E-V-E-R, that causes so much destruction, that causes so much hurt, that masquerades eternity. Never, I'll never be with you, never.
On the rocks. I would have taken my ex-lover to bed, but he left the bar with some hot blonde instead, so I vomited my anguish into the sunrise. I drank a quadruple shot of tequila and called my new man, but I reached his voicemail and spat puke on the land. Then I called the corner and asked for a hand in the disguised matter of another man, something that neither he nor I will ever understand. I asked if he liked Bukowski on the rocks, because maybe what I'm feeling is a feeling he could stop. But what's really top shelf is what I should not touch. For the higher the height, the longer the drop. I hit the ground of the pavement in an attempt to give it up.
How do I feel writing this? I didn't know that it would be like this. I thought it would be wonderful, magical, like entering a fairy tale. And instead it feels confronting and painful, as though I have to speak directly now. I can't hide anymore. The breakage of language dissimulates, swerves, refuses to be counted. It is my mask, or it was my mask, or it is my mask. It is the mask. It is always the mask. I have to take this off. I have a stone in my shoe. I have a pea under 10 mattresses I sleep on. I have a coat on my tongue which I have to cut. I have a cut on my hand which I have to cut. I have a wound in my side. I have been shot by an arrow. I have bitten my tongue. I spit blood. And the feeling that I have to do this. I have to do this. My life depends on this. Only this. I hang by a thread. Everything that I do or did or do or do or do will do it here. Everything that was done to me is here. Everything that happened to me is here, undeniably, indelible ink. I can't voice this or hide now. I can't hide or hid now. Everything comes out. I confess now to me. In a room with a kind lady, I listen to me. I will tell me, I tell me, I will tell me, I tell me.